And speaking of masterpieces, this next thing I'm going to tell you is maybe the hardest thing I've ever tried to communicate. I spent probably 30 minutes last night trying to compose a tweet on this topic, and in the end I sort of gave up. Because there's some things that by their weird nature can't be explained by some people. In other words, it's something you could explain easily, but I can't. Here's the situation. You've probably seen on Twitter Akira the Don't. His username is at AKIRATHEDON. And he makes music. One of the things he's made, and there was a little clip that he's released, is that he's taken my the audio from my periscopes, and he's taken selected clips from audios, especially of the periscopes that are not political, so that there's nothing political in the music. But when I talk about the user interface for reality, for example, and he put it to music. Now, here's why I couldn't compose the tweet, because I need more time to talk about it like I'm going to do now. If I just told you that somebody whose music you are not familiar with necessarily had put my audio from my periscope to music, what would be your first impression of how good that would be? Not very good, right? Wouldn't that be your assumption? Your first assumption would be, I don't know if I want to listen to that. I mean, maybe for curiosity, but it's not going to be like, art or music, right? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. You're going to be surprised. All right, now here's the part that I couldn't tell. When I listened to it, it actually just blew me away. But I couldn't tell if it's because I was listening to my own voice. Because think how powerful that would be to hear yourself talking to yourself in a way you weren't expecting, so you don't know what's going to come. It's because the order of it and the presentation was new to me as well. Even though it was my words, it was somewhat new to me because of the way it was composed. So I wasn't sure if what was happening is I was just having a personal experience that would not be in any way generalized to other people. So I tweeted it out, saying as little about it as possible because I couldn't describe it. And I wanted to see what the comments were. It turns out people really like it. People really like it. And I was trying to figure out why. And I'll take my best crack at it. You've seen the popularity of mashups where you'll have, let's say, a rapper be doing, some kind of rap part of a song, and then maybe Rihanna or somebody would come in and do a more musically, I don't have the musical terms, but you know what I'm talking about. So you'd have somebody on a completely different style, a rapper style, mix them with somebody who's more classically, a singer, and somehow it's better. I don't know why. Like, I've thought about it for a long time. It's like, why is this better when you put two completely different things together? It doesn't quite make sense, but it is. I mean, I listen to it, I go, okay, that's better. I don't know why. Now, I think it has something to do with, in that case, you're waiting for the part you're waiting for, or there might be some anticipation about it. I don't know. Maybe there's some context or contrast that makes it a thing. But when I listen to this, here's my best guess about why it had an effect on me. As you know, I'm a trained hypnotist and a very experienced communicator. So when you hear my words, they tend to carry more weight than an untrained communicator. So if you said to yourself, it's just somebody talking and they put it to music, it wouldn't be this. Because even when I hear myself, sometimes I play back my periscopes just to see if I can learn anything, to improve them. And when I'm playing back my own periscopes, I see the density in them that I didn't know I had when I started. So when I was doing it, I wasn't aware of it, but when I watch it, I can watch it like a spectator, and I'll think, well, that's pretty dense. But also, I realize that I'm using massively, and I don't even do it consciously, the techniques of hypnosis. So while I don't think that was his intention, to make a hypnosis slash musical product, because everything I do is sort of infused with persuasion, that the little clips of my voice, forget about them musically, they just activate a different part of your brain. And so what you're feeling is that the text is activating one part of your brain while the music is activating another, and it's two parts of your brain that you just don't activate at the same time. And that's why it has a weird effect on you, because you haven't had those two parts of your brain simultaneously activated. It's not the same as just hearing somebody talk, because again, I've infused it without trying, I infuse it with a lot more weight than normal words. And it's just because of training and technique. Anybody, Tony Robbins would do the same thing without trying. So I recommend it. At the same time, I just don't know how to describe it because it's just not like anything else. Scott speaks perfectly. That's a callback to, I told you the story when I lost my voice for 3.5 years, and I literally couldn't communicate. At least, I could make noise, but I couldn't make full sentences and stuff. And my affirmation at the time was that I would speak perfectly. Now, I don't speak perfectly, because perfect is a standard you can't really achieve. But, nonetheless, it is true that my voice is on a work of art that's music. Now, I can't tell if he enhanced my voice or he just edited out anything that was weak sounding, but it does sound better than my normal voice. I don't know how he did that, so there might be some digital magic about that. He might have auto-tuned it, possibly. If you listen to it, is there somebody smart enough to know that my voice was auto-tuned or even a little bit? I can't tell. But there does seem to be a little more character in my voice than what I would normally hear if I just played it back. Could be in my imagination, so I don't know. Yes, so it's on Spotify. So you can look for it. The single is called It Feels Like It Works. So look for Akira the Don't, A-K-I-R-A, the D-O-N. And this should pop up with your Google searches. And there's a whole album coming that I haven't heard yet, but impressive. On the interface to reality. It feels like it works. It feels like it works. It feels like it works. The interface to reality. It feels like it works. It feels like it works. It feels like it works.